I said, I'm monitoring, and I hear what this hears, and then we can just go from there.
This can hear you now as well.
That's good.
Yeah.
And I can hear me before it hears me.
Good.
Just slightly second.
Yeah.
I know what I'm going to say before it knows what I'm going to say.
I don't know about that.
Yeah. Didn't look at it for advice. Hello, Rob.
Hi.
It's your birthday tomorrow.
It is.
And when this episode goes out, it will be your birthday. So happy birthday, Rob.
Thank you.
How old are you going to be?
33.
You know, today, when we record, the day before your birthday, is Lara Croft. It's 20 years since the first Tomb Raider came out.
I saw on Twitter earlier, there's a little account that tells you when various games came out. I did see the Sega Saturn box appeared, and I was very happy because I had Tomb Raider on the Sega Saturn, and I loved my Saturn.
It's the perfect matchup. And obviously, you know, we've had the whole anniversary thing running for a while. It's now out on PS4, Rise of the Tomb Raider, as an anniversary edition.
Yes.
Which seems a bit unfair. For your anniversary, we're going to give you a delayed game. Happy anniversary.
Yay!
I'm sure if I went to my partner, happy anniversary, here's something I should have given you a year ago.
Yeah.
And we should be happy about that.
No.
But Sony fans.
Well.
Better late than never. Anyway, hello everybody. Welcome to We're the Lolocaust, back in the game. Back on the podcast and back in the game.
Yeah.
That's a turn up for the books.
Oh.
It's strange.
Yeah, it has. It's been a while.
It has been a while due to a number of complicating factors. Not least the fact that I nearly died.
Yes, your circulatory system.
Yeah, I'm currently rigged up to a lot of machinery, not just podcasting.
No, not just this microphone and headset.
I've spent a week, as has your lovely wife as well. We seem to be mirroring paths at certain times.
Yeah,
spending a lot of unnecessarily a large amount of time in medical facilities. So so from my point of view, everybody thinks I had cardiac arrest, not a heart attack.
No.
The other one.
Cardiac arrested development.
Yeah.
Ron Howard started to narrate your life randomly one day.
Ron was narrating my life, and a man with a hook for a hand scared me. But yeah, it was quite scary. Weirdly, though, all the blood tests have said that I haven't got what I thought I had.
Right.
Because I was thinking diabetes, because I'm a fat man who eats a lot of sugary things, and monkey AIDS.
Yeah. Because
I hang around with people who might have monkey AIDS.
Well, this is why I gave you that jar of gypsy tears for your birthday, to protect you from AIDS.
And then I threw the gypsy tears at a passing cyclist, though.
Yeah. I don't pay road tax, that's fine.
Yeah. Like earlier, I got out of the car after seeing you in Asda.
Yeah.
We don't see each other for ages, and we see each other like 3 times
in one day. My daughter still blanked you.
Yeah, well, it happens. And as I was getting out of the car, a cyclist came the wrong way down our one-way street with no lights on. And I went to open my door, and Claire went, "Be careful." And I just went, "No." I opened it as hard as I could out, hoping I'd take him off his bike. I have no issue with cyclists. I really don't. But I do have an issue with cyclists not having lights on in the dark on a one-way street and going the wrong way. Yeah,
we see that down our street as well, because our end of where we are is one way, and we see that quite a lot too.
All the best people live on one-way streets.
It's true.
Yeah. And, I mean, I would say if you were bisexual, probably better to be on a two-way street. But if you,
I don't think the highway code is relevant.
I think it is. I think it's entirely relevant. I think you'll find there are far more straight people living on one-way streets than there are bisexual people.
I don't know how you'd prove that.
The statistics are there.
Are they?
There's nobody on this road who's bisexual.
I think we've already proven people are bored of experts now.
People are bored.
Because that went really well for us last time. We didn't listen to the experts.
All we've learned about this country is it should never be allowed to vote on anything ever. So with that in mind, let's do a show backed by popular demand. And by popular demand, I mean the 2 people who said, yes, we'd like a new episode. When I said, who wants a new episode then?
That was Postman Gav.
I don't know. Not seen him either. He's too busy losing weight and going to a gym. Fucking weird, that is.
Oh, I didn't expect that of Gav.
Especially not of Gav, no. I mean, could you imagine Gru from Despicable Me going to a gym?
No. Stealing the moon, yes.
Yeah, but he's not even doing that. He's still in the mail still, because he's still a postman.
Oh, really?
So it's he's not quite... The apple doesn't fall so far from the tree.
No.
He might be thinner. Oh, I just kicked the table. He might be thinner, but he's still an evil, nefarious genius.
Yeah.
I say genius. Evil, nefarious clot.
Well...
Anyway, right, so on the show this week, right,
yes,
you've got the running order hastily
written. I have,
thing.
hastily written. Our previously so well prepared online documentation has been replaced by your old notepad.
Well, it's not an old notepad. It's a vintage notepad.
All right, vintage notepad.
I've got a beard and glasses. I can't have anything old. It's all vintage now.
All right, you drink your Pepsi before it was cool. So we've got.
Oh, I burnt my tongue.
So we've got Eurogamer. You went with our erstwhile friend, Mr. Hamhock.
Yeah, and then we didn't do anything about podcasting after.
No.
Which was a bit of an oversight, perhaps. But there was a lot to talk about.
It's kind of like the oversight last year where we were going to podcast from Eurogamer and then you forgot the password to log into the app, so we couldn't.
Yeah, that also happens, yeah.
I just assumed it happened.
Yeah, it was too chilled out a day to really do any proper work. So, but I have made some notes to work from. I haven't got the notebook with the notes in.
Do you need the vintage notebook back in a minute?
No, I have another notebook that I took to EGX.
Is that also a vintage notebook?
It was a Loot Crate exclusive notebook.
Oh.
So I had one with lines in it, and Hock had one with graph paper because he's obviously a doctor.
Ah.
And we both filled out little
Which
notes.
crate did that come in?
Quite early on. It was the one that had the paracord wristband.
No, I didn't get that. I think that was before I signed up.
I was still living in Elm then because I only had 4 Loot Crates and then I was poor and couldn't afford it.
Couldn't afford any more.
And then subsequently every single one since then has been something in that's made me go, oh, for fuck's sake.
Ah. So I've got too many now. I don't know where to put the boxes anymore.
The one that I stopped, the one directly after was the one with the Breaking Bad apron.
Oh, I've got that.
And I was fucking furious. So I thought, I had one box, it was like, there was nothing that exciting in it, really. And I just thought, you know what? I can't afford this.
Yeah.
And then a Breaking Bad apron happened.
Yeah.
And then a Carnage mug. And it was just like, come on, stop with this. I want a Predator figure. I want a Terminator skull.
Yeah.
I want a hoverboard.
I've got all these things, by the way.
Did you get the Doc Brown pop vinyl as well?
Yes.
Yeah, see? All those things, brilliant.
Yeah.
Never got any of them.
No, I've got the Han Solo Hoth snowsuit one as well, pop vinyl. Yeah.
Bloody Loot Crate. If only I was able to come up with like a podcast or a YouTube channel about opening these things just so I can justify getting them all for free because people click my affiliate links.
We have got a YouTube channel. We just don't use it.
We just don't use it for that sort of
The last time it was you staring at your Xbox in disbelief as your disk drive failed again, I believe.
Yeah, I think that's about right. There are plans to do so with it. There are always plans to do so with it.
Yeah.
I'm just dying, so
well,
it's just I'd better do one last.
I'm pretty sure like a live death would get a lot of hits.
Well, I keep tweeting that I'm still not dead.
Yes, I've seen.
Because I'm worried that one day those tweets aren't going to happen. So for now, just
can you not like rig up a separate Twitter account to like those ECG heart monitors?
Yeah.
So just like every hour, it'll auto tweet, not dead yet.
Yeah.
Until actually you are dead, and then it'll just auto tweet dead.
Yeah.
And that'll be it. And obviously that'll be the like Ripley, the last survivor of the Nostromo signing off of Twitter. Dead.
I could write a
I need to put a GIF as well. You need to set it up so it automatically puts like some sort of dancing cat GIF. Dead. That's all, folks.
It would have to be me taking a bow, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Like just Serio, folks. Serio. Yeah, of course, I wouldn't even get that right.
Yeah.
Final line, I'm fluff it up.
Fluff your parting words.
Well, when I was younger, I set up essentially like a digital time capsule.
Here lies Bouncy Ball. he lived as he loathed.
I was talking to my son today. We were walking past the funeral directors. I think I might have mentioned this on a podcast before, but they have these tiny little gravestones in the window, and I was telling him I want one of those. And he went, why? I went, because they're just the right height to trip someone over and annoy them.
Yeah.
And then what I want is a sound chip, so it trips them up, and then I go, I'm still bloody annoying. And that would have been perfect.
Yeah.
But I don't want to be buried. I want to be freeze-dried. I was watching a video about this company that freeze-dry people. And they pour liquid nitrogen all over them. And then they shatter you.
Right.
And then they defrost you.
Right.
And they freeze-dry you, take out all the moisture. And then they do something else. And then they put you in like a little cardboard pod.
Okay.
And you can bury that in a plot like a foot by a foot square.
Okay.
With a seed in it, and a tree grows out of it.
Oh.
And I thought, you
could just eat like an apple core, and you've got the seeds already. Then.
Yeah. Well, they say, probably the freeze dried would kill the seed, wouldn't it?
Well, no, I just meant like don't worry about the freeze drying.
Yeah, but I don't want to be buried alive. I
No,
don't want to be burned alive.
No, just before you croak
I watch
it.
Scrooge.
Just before you croak it, have an apple, eat the seeds and the core and everything, and just have your nearest and dearest leave you in the woods. That's what I plan to do. Just leave you in the woods. Save the money. Let them go and have a nice party. Don't worry about the wooden box. Leave you in the woods.
Surely the stomach acids would destroy the seed. What I need to do is lodge some seeds in my eye sockets.
Yeah, or your teeth.
Dying. In my ears.
And then you can die being irritated by something stuck in your teeth going, oh no, I just can't.
My rectal cavity could be full of acorns.
Got a bit far. I won't lie there.
Leave me face down in the woods, Nicola. Nicola? Oh, God.
Oh,
murdered
wow.
me.
Some deep repression there, my friend.
Jesus Christ.
I've decided my epitaph will be, there'll be a new episode next week, honest.
Yeah. This episode is probably just going to be called Still Not Dead.
Yeah.
We're Lolocaust. Back in the game. Still Not Dead.
Yeah.
Hock and I are working on another podcast at the moment.
Yes.
Called Still Not Famous. ! Question mark.
Haven't you been working on this since the summer?
Yeah.
There'll be an episode next week, honest.
No, there won't. It'll only come out once it's really ready. We're properly kind of planning it and scripting it. And essentially, it's the bare bones of it is...
We've scripted this one, look.
Yeah, I know.
I'm going to hold up the vintage notepad now.
I know we've scripted this one. But this one's because we're working to a plan. The other one isn't going to be a plan. Like, Hock and I basically decided the whole new Lolocaust series while he made a risotto, I believe.
Right.
And he didn't have...
Is that central to the plot?
Well, he didn't have any peas.
Is that central to the plot? The way you raised your eyebrow suggests that it might be.
But he did have mixed veg. So he then, while we were recording a conversation talking about what we could do, separated all the peas out of a bag of mixed veg and counted them because he needed a certain amount of weight of peas. It was fascinating.
Well, he did 10,000 green peas or Hock wouldn't go on stage that night.
Yeah, it was awful. So the idea is that it's as we all get a bit older. I mean, Hock and I both realised it's been over 10 years since we started writing on the internet.
Yeah.
Which is mental. There are people...
I mean, to begin with, you didn't even have internet. You were just writing on your mum's computer screen.
Yeah. It wasn't even a computer screen. It was just a telly.
Yeah.
I just thought one day I'm going to be able to write on this.
Yeah.
Teletext was an inspiration to me. But yeah, so it's like we've been doing this for a long while. And as we... Like, in most professions, if you do something for 10 years, you progress.
Yeah.
And all we've found is that 12-year-olds with a YouTube channel are now infinitely more influential in the market that we've worked hard at.
Yeah, hard's a relative term.
I mean, I was erect, if that helps.
Excuse me?
I worked at it while hard. But no, it's just a bit crazy because you think... You
just check your watch to make sure you're still alive.
Well,
not dead.
There's the element of that.
I Watch 2 will tell you when you're not dead.
I have the Fitbit Blaze, and they've updated recently, so it now will show you app notifications. So before it used to just be text messages or calls, but now I can get Facebook and WhatsApp and whatever. But I do have a heart monitor, and I have got to keep an eye on that. Yeah. So if at any point I do check it and I suddenly go very quiet, it's because I'm dying.
Oh, cool. Do I have to like fill for half an hour or so, or
what? Do an impression of Phil Mitchell for half an hour?
Yeah. Well, no, I can't keep that going for half an hour.
Just drink some brandy and cry in a corner. But yeah, so the whole show is about passive aggressive frustration at a world that.
So basically, it's just you and Hock talking normally for an hour,
but with thinly veiled characters.
And occasionally, I might like appear and you go, "We need a third character. Can you do a weird voice for us again, please?"
Can you? I don't know. We need a Southern States cop.
Yeah.
Randomly on the A47.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we're working on that, but it will only come out. It'll be a short form, like 6-episode run. But yeah, it's a lot of fun to do stuff with Hock when it's right, and we both got to come at it from the right angle. So it's almost like trying to get Rick Mann and Adrian Edson back together again.
More difficult than it used to be.
Him looking like Adrian Edson and me basically dying of a heart attack.
Yeah.
It's pretty much the parallels are there if you want to look at them. I also must apologise for how breathy I sound to the people at home.
My chair keeps creaking as well, so we've all got issues. So
ultimately, we've lost one of the pop filters, and
so I have to
sit quite close. I've tried that before; it doesn't work very well.
Yeah, I think I've got some spares at home from when we used to do this regularly. So.
Yeah, but for people who might be listening now, you just have to imagine I'm sat right next to you, breathing into your ear.
Can I imagine that you're Graham Torrington from off of the radio from when we were kids? Everybody remembers. He's one of those DJs. You don't remember Graham Torrington?
No. I know James Whale.
Who?
Well, there you go. Two different generations. There's 10 years between us. It's ruined it. This is exactly what that podcast with Hock's going to be about.
James Whale.
You lot with you not getting the references anymore.
With your Graham Torringtons.
I made a reference the other day to Grange Hill.
Yeah, I know Grange Hill.
Grange Hill has ran from the 1970s right through to the turn of the millennium.
Yep.
And the two people I talked to about it had never heard of it. They weren't just too young to have not seen it, but they were too young to have not even been watching programs like Grange Hill when Grange Hill was on.
Yeah. We have a game at work now. We've got an apprentice called Hayden. And we have a game, basically. Me and Ben, who's a little bit older, he was 42 recently, 41. We basically play a game. What great films were out before Hayden was born?
All of them.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, there's a lot. He was born in 99, I think.
Yeah,
so there was a lot.
Yeah, I worked with someone who wasn't even born in last century.
I can't even imagine that.
I know, it's horrible. Cripplingly horrible.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's difficult when you work at a cinema and you're saying, "Oh, did I tell you what's good? That film with Sean Connery was wearing the little pants." And they're like, "What's that? Who's Sean Connery?" Well, what?
Right, I can understand the not knowing the little pants film, but not knowing who Sean Connery is.
Yeah. Chloe, who works there, we were talking about Doctor Strange, which is out today.
Yeah.
Getting great reviews as well.
Yes, I'm very keen to see that.
Yeah. And we were talking about Benedict Cumberbatch, and she said, "Who's that?" And I thought, that's not a name.
That's just weird.
And then we showed
and she works at a cinema, right?
Yeah. And then we showed her a picture of Benedict Cumberbatch.
Right.
Thinking, well, maybe she just doesn't know the name.
Oh, she'll just go, Sherlock or something like that. Yeah.
Nope. Has never seen him before in her life.
How do you manage that?
How do you?
I know, literally, like this is one of those things where, he's on the front of newspapers
all the time,
and therefore he's on social media because obviously they promote these stories.
Yep.
I don't. No.
I mean,
do you know what else scares me? Sorry, just to go. Jurassic Park was out in 1993.
Yeah, I know.
I didn't click till the other day when me and Emma were like, "When did this come out?" We're like, "I don't know, like mid-late 90s." Like, no, 93, nearly 25 years old.
Yeah,
that scared me.
Crazy. Like we're doing a double bill Halloween at work.
Yeah,
Little Shop of Horrors and Ghostbusters. We were going to do the new Ghostbusters.
Yeah,
and then we had a change of heart. Actually, I say change of heart. Came to our senses. Showing 1984 Ghostbusters.
Yeah,
1984.
Yeah. So I know that was older.
32 years.
I know that was older, so that wasn't quite as shocking.
I know, but 32 years old. That film is still...
Well, I watched something else the other day, which was like 79 or something, which struck me. I can't remember what it was. Yeah. But I still looked and I'm like, wow, that was before even I was born.
Yeah. Anyway, carry on through the list, because that's what we've got.
Oh, yeah, we've got an agenda.
Yeah.
I did say we'd deviate.
I've got an agenda.
So, Eurogamer, which will be mostly yourself, because obviously you were there. I was not this year. I could not make it.
I was there. There's photo evidence.
There is photo evidence. I couldn't make it this year, sadly. You've put down Nintendo NX, so obviously that has changed somewhat since.
Yeah, well, we want to prove that we knew what the Switch was before it was cool.
We want to prove we know something of what we're talking about. Sony Pay VR demo.
Yeah.
And then a little bit on Gears 4.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Ahead of the next show. So, EGX.
Yes.
Was very weird.
Yes.
Microsoft and Nintendo were not in attendance.
Nintendo possibly didn't surprise me as much because of the next topic on the list, the NX Switch, because I didn't necessarily expect them to do a lot there prior to announcing the next console. Yeah. So I wasn't so surprised at that one, and it didn't really click to me because I'd followed stuff, see what was there. Yeah. Also, Eurogamer put stuff on their website. I sort of exchanged a few texts with you, blah blah blah, and then really click. And then we said Microsoft aren't here. And I'm like, that is odd.
It's very odd. I mean, with Nintendo,
especially all the stuff that came out at like E3.
Yeah, I mean, if you think back to last year when we went, and we were really annoyed at how Microsoft's stand was basically just PR people shouting, "Do you want a T-shirt?" And the Nintendo one was basically just Splatoon for 4 days straight with people shouting and winning Mario hats.
Yeah.
I mean,
there was a few other bits in Nintendo.
There were, but it's no great loss. Because the games are still there.
Yeah.
Just the companies aren't there pretending they're really there. Because there was nobody really from Microsoft on that stand. It was just a Microsoft-branded area.
Yeah, and then they did stuff for Fallout and Tomb Raider.
And what did they have at Fallout? They had the bloody Vault Boy.
Yeah.
Vault Boy. And some people going, "Do you know the theme tune to Fallout 3? And then they sang it wrong and go, "That's right, have a T-shirt." Fuck off. Fucking...
Yeah.
Apart from that kid in the tiny little vault suit.
That was amazing.
Cool. So they weren't there. Sony were, but because Sony were there, they were the only people there. It kind of felt like it was EGX in association with Sony. Game weren't there either. They've been replaced by Amazon, which was very odd because, of course, Amazon isn't really a storefront company. So they had an area which was basically like, you remember a toy?
Did they have the ship? Was the pirate ship still there? They just repainted it orange.
No shit. No, it's weirder.
Wounded.
Do you remember the olden days of Toys R Us when you wanted to buy a computer game? You had to go to that little hatch at the back of the shop.
Oh, and then so they had everything like behind a case, and you took that bit of card, kind of like you still do with big stuff.
Yeah. But this was like just for any small thing. You just go up and you give them that, and then they go up and find and bring it to you. Right? They basically, that was the Amazon thing. There was just a little window with some people, and you could order something, and they'd have it shipped to EGX for you to take home with you that day. They had no stock there at all. Everything was sent from a distribution centre to show how quick the Amazon Now stuff could be. Which, in a way, was good, but in another way was the least exciting area, because people looked at it and went, well, what's that? Just like a window with some people in it.
Yeah.
So
I guess
why not have drones flying around? Like
that would have been better, at least like they do in some of the toy shops, like Mankind, where they have one of the irresponsible teenagers flying a hover helicopter around tall people's heads.
I think it was just like a window with some people.
It's a bit weird.
And some boxes of Amazon written on it, but they have nothing in them. Much
See,
like most of the boxes you get from Amazon when they have a giant box for a pack of cards.
See, I can understand their potential interest in doing something like that, because then if people, certainly with some of the games that had just come out, because we saw that last year, there was a couple of games that literally just come out, so they had big stands there to push them, and so you go there, you go, hi Amazon, I've just seen this at that stand, it's awesome, I want to buy it,
this is where it does get clever, because although it was underwhelming, each stand that had a product available had a QR code you could just scan with the Amazon app, and it would buy it, you could add it to your basket and buy it there and then. So that worked well, but obviously then that's that whole thing of, why have it delivered there when you could just have it delivered at home the next day? Yeah. It's like
gimmicky, a little bit gimmicky. Do you want to
carry a lot more stuff around with you? Like one of the things that they were trying to get you to buy was a big gaming chair. They were like, have it just delivered to the show. I was like,
why?
Fuck off!
Why would I do that?
I don't want that.
It's not even like you can easily get it back to your car, because you've got to get on the bus to get back to the car park.
Absolutely. Unless you had a wheelie chair, you could just sort of get somebody to push you, or hang on to the back of a bus like a weird Back to the Future reference.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was odd. But Sony were there in a big way. They had their big light up shapes like they always do. They had a foot of the Last Guardian's main character.
Right.
But rather than have...
What is it with them and like big body parts? Wasn't it the Sony that had the Final Fantasy fighting the giant hand at E3? Yeah. What is it with them and big body parts?
And the weirdest thing was, it was like you could have your photo taken, and they then, like the Destiny Sparrow one that they had. You could have your photo taken and they'd send it to you on social media. But the problem was, if you step back, it's like the Harry Potter trolley at King's Cross.
Yeah.
Like when it used to be in that shed outside, if you step back and you take the photo of a queue of people waiting to go into a shed and hold a trolley, it looks mental.
Yeah.
If you step back and you just see a man stood next to a large severed leg, it seems really weird. Yeah. It's like, do you like severed limbs? Do you like potentially never releasable Sony games? Yeah. We got that perfect store for you.
Need a new foot.
Yeah, a 3-toed foot. So they were the big thing. Final Fantasy had a massive area. Like Square Enix had obviously bought in because it was Tomb Raider's anniversary, and Final Fantasy's got about 200 million games coming out. So they had two large Chocobo suits, which was quite adorable. They were very good. But what the show, because it lost all of the big companies, they gave a lot of precedence to the Rezzed stuff, which you'd think would be brilliant. But then you start to think, well, why is it just not Rezzed?
Yeah.
Because Microsoft had a very small thing at Rezzed. Sony had their PSVR experience at Rezzed. You think, well, why not just do that? If that's where it's going, just have Rezzed twice a year.
Yeah.
Rezzed North and Rezzed South.
See, that's an interesting dynamic as well, splitting something like that into North and South.
Yeah, because that was the whole point of going to Birmingham, was they'd have one in London and one up north. So, like you have...
one up north in Birmingham.
Like the Penny Arcade. They have Penny Arcade East and Penny Arcade West. They have Penny Arcade Australia. So why not have just EGX North, EGX South, and get away with the branding? Because ultimately, and this is an argument I had with some people, because we're in this transitional period where there aren't a lot of major games coming up, there wasn't a lot that could be shown.
Yeah.
like the main bulk of gaming market at the moment is indie developed stuff with some AAA titles put in. So you had Call of Duty there, you had Battlefield there, you had Titanfall there, you had South Park with a brilliant parody of Oculus Rift.
Yeah.
But at its heart, that show was indie games. But they don't want to sell it as an indie game show because that doesn't sell loads of tickets enough to warrant EGX Hall. And the amount of people I heard saying, there's not a lot going on here, is there? There's not a lot here. And you think, well, there's thousands of games here.
Yeah.
Just not necessarily
there isn't a Fallout like there was last year, or even a Lego Dimensions, because that's out.
Yeah.
So even though they only had a very small stand for Lego Dimensions, by the Microsoft stand, there was enough interest of people going up, giving it a go. But obviously, because it's out now, and was it Rock Band was there last year? You had to go on, or was it Guitar Hero?
Yeah, they were both there.
And then obviously that bullshit with the HTC Vive, with the stand that your name wasn't on the list, so they wouldn't let you in.
Well, I got to try the PlayStation VR. Hawk and I both did.
Is this when you were nearly sick?
Yeah, it's the only note that I can remember from my book is I wrote in my book immediately after, "Oh my fucking god, I'm falling, I'm going to die." It was the same people who made the one that nearly killed me last year on the
You'd have thought you'd have learned, really.
Well, I didn't realise it was them until I was in the queue and I saw that bloke who was a massive arsehole. And so it was called Windlands, and it was essentially Zelda, but on a series of floating islands.
Okay.
And you had like grappling hooks to jump around. You jump too high, so it's an unusual amount of height that you gain. They never really explain that. Like, have you got springs for legs? Are you a kangaroo?
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. You jump really high.
You just accept it and carry on.
Gravity's probably an issue. I don't know. But, excuse me. But as soon as you jump, naturally you look down to see where you're landing.
Yeah.
Now, I think that's the reason they make you jump so high, is to get that feeling of you're up in the air.
Right.
And because of the sheer drop underneath you, and the VR working well, it terrifies you.
Yeah.
Because you're like,
you're not used to it.
And all you can see is down to infinity. It's a good game.
Yeah.
And the VR worked really well. But I came out of it, and we were both... It wasn't like motion sickness. It was sheer fear and the stress of having been put in that situation. Both of us, afterwards, we were talking about it. So like, I'm glad we both had a terrible experience with it in a way. Because neither of us would have wanted to be the person to go... Oh, that frightened me. But luckily, we were both like, we both considered just taking the headset off and leaving the game and running away and hiding in a corner and just playing Final Fantasy on the DS or something because it was awfully scary. But then that's testament to PSVR working really well. It was the most comfortable headset I've worn. Field of vision and the visuals themselves aren't as crisp as the Vive, but it's a lot cheaper. And people seem to be really liking it.
Yeah. They feedback, response, whatever you want to call it, I've seen has generally been positive so far.
I mean, for most people, this will be their first experience of VR anyway, through a console in a way that's being supported well. Now, the other thing that's really cool about the VR, or the PSVR really, is that you can put like a movie mode on. So you can play games with just a projected screen, like a HoloLens style screen, or you can watch a film. So you can sit there and have this massive screen size, almost like those glasses you used to be able to get in the 90s where it would hook into a DVD player. So for some people, I think that might change how they access media as well. Because you think watching Netflix without a TV on could be really good. But yeah, so that scared us. Terrifying Spider-Man, terrifying game. We didn't touch much VR after that.
Yeah.
We had to have half-hour sit down. It was just too much. VR is brilliant in the right situation. I think. Yeah. And a show floor is not the right situation. But also, you feel a bit of pressure because you know you're in a queue.
Yeah.
You know the people behind you want to get on. So you want to do well at something. You don't take your time with it so much. And then you're sort of then panicking. And that's an extra level of stress that you don't need. But yeah, it was great. I really enjoyed it. Cool. Sonic Mania, the new 16-bit Sonic game. Yep. The best Sonic game I played since Sonic 2. And I say that with no... Now, here's the other thing, right? They put this in a really dark corner. So, I mean, Sega, hands up here, Sega's fault. They fucked it up on this one. They had... if you imagine this table that we're on, which is about 4 foot long and 2 foot wide.
Yeah, about that.
Imagine this is Sega's area.
Okay.
95% of it is... oh, God, what's it called?
Football Manager?
No. They're fantasy, not Warhammer, the other one, Dawn of War.
Dawn of War.
It was Dawn of War,
Fair enough. That's a big seller for them. Yep.
Tiny bit of Sonic.
Mm-hmm.
Queue for Sonic was about an hour. Dawn of War, you could just walk on. Because people thought, well, we know what to expect there. They all want to play the Sonic game. It's one of the biggest Sonic games, really, in terms of people being curious about it.
For a long time, really.
For a long time.
Yeah.
And also, it's the anniversary year. They had the statue of new Sonic next to the retro Sonic stand. They had instructions, which basically were left, right, and then 3 buttons, which would jump. Didn't mention on the instructions how to do a spin dash.
Yeah.
I watched and painfully watched people failing to learn that they could roll and break walls, or that you could jump, hit a TV, and keep going. You didn't have to stop, jump on it, and go again. Fucking useless. I queued for nearly an hour, Hock the whole time going, this is going to be rubbish, look at it, it's going to be rubbish. He hated like the whole idea of playing it.
Yeah.
But I was in charge, so he had to do what I told him.
Yeah.
And then when we got there, I was so annoyed that people had taken so long to do what is essentially a speedrunning game. 56 seconds and I was off. And then I had to wait for Hock for about 8 minutes because he just tarted around like a fanny.
Well.
And I thought, well, I've wasted the opportunity now. I could have played for Sonic for 8 minutes. But instead, I played it properly, like a gamer. And now look at me stood here next to some merchandise in a glass cabinet I can't even buy.
Yeah. Why were you in a glass cabinet?
Because I'm valuable. And so I had to watch a Destiny tournament, which was even weirder. So Virgin were there last year.
Yeah, they were.
They were there again hosting the Destiny tournament.
Mm-hmm. Did they have like a big hub in the middle like last year?
Not in the middle.
Right.
Off to the side. There wasn't really a middle in any of it this year.
It wasn't really middle last year, to be fair. I sort of exaggerated that slightly.
Well, they were sort of circular, weren't they? So it was all the way around. Whereas this was just a square with gamers in. Now, you'd think you got a Destiny Raid challenge, probably have a screen up so you can watch it. Nope. No, you had commentary on a match you couldn't see.
That's weird.
Very, very strange. So the whole show was full of stuff like that, where you just think there's very odd decision making, and I almost get the feeling that they just were waiting for Nintendo and Microsoft to announce what they were going to do, and hadn't really planned the rest of the areas.
Yeah,
and then when they didn't churn up, they just had to sort of spread everything out a little bit in areas. So like going and saying, "Oh, maybe we can have." So they had like an area with fake grass, and then a load of food stalls around the outside. And you think, yeah, because that's the first thing you think of when you're in the NEC. Well, yeah, it is the NEC, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. When you can step out and there's about 1,000 restaurants. Let's have a hot dog stall in here, and a popcorn stall, and a pick and mix stall selling fucking pick and mix, 100 grams of pick and mix for nearly £1.90.
Yeah.
I know there's steep prices when you go into a convention, but that takes the piss.
Did they have any more of that weird energy drink being handed out?
Yes, they did.
One that did damage to your intestines, whatever it was.
Tornado energy
That was
drink.
it. I threw that in the sink in the end.
They were giving it out to people. But
Same slogan this year?
Pretty much same slogan, but a lot smaller stand. I don't think they were supposed to be there. I think it was just stuck to the floor still.
Yeah.
Because it was very sticky, that stuff.
Yeah.
But luckily, because they weren't giving it to everybody as they walked in, I didn't see another can of it just stood there like you did there.
Yeah.
It was everywhere. The floor was awful.
Last year it was terrible.
It was filth.
Yeah.
So this year they were just there. They weren't promoting Just Cause or anything. They were just sort of there handing out drinks.
I didn't even know they were promoting Just Cause last year. I thought their stand just happened to be by where Just Cause was.
Their stand was at the entrance to the 18 zone.
Yep.
And then when you went to play Just Cause, one side of the Just Cause thing was
I remember, yeah. And then you had the Assassin's Creed stuff in the middle last year, didn't you?
Yeah.
That 18 plus zone.
And the 18 plus zone was awful this year. You went in.
There was only about 3 games last year, to be fair.
There were, but at least they had some design.
Yeah,
right?
And they're
Assassin's Creed
recognisable.
cool.
Yeah, they're recognisable titles as well with Just Cause and The Division. And
there was like a 9-hour queue in there for The Division. This one, you could pretty much walk onto any game you wanted to. There was Battlefield, Gears of War, South Park, and Titanfall. I think that was it in there. And some mobile phone charging stations, and the quietest toilets in the whole of the NEC.
Yeah.
Because people were just like, oh, I know what that game looked like.
Yeah.
I'm not going to queue for 3 hours for South Park. Let's go back out here and
we'll do something else. Yeah.
Play a board game.
Get a hot dog.
One guy tried to get us to play Colt Express, the board game.
Right.
Which, and it's not a very deep and complicated game, but it does take about an hour to get the hang of.
Yeah.
And he was like, come on, do you want to rob a train? And I went, do you mean in a board game or in real life? Because always the kid, or I am a celebrity.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, it's a really good game. I was like, yeah, it's Cold Sweat. I'm trying to tell him that I know what the game is and I played it. He was like, are you going to come sit down? He goes, it will take a little while to teach you. And I went, well, we have got other things to look at.
Yeah.
And he went, oh, yeah, that's fine. Come back later. Why take a game like that? They had great big miniature battle games that can take like 7 hours to learn and play.
Yeah.
On a show where you're there for 6 hours and you've got potentially 300 games to play.
Yeah.
It seemed a bit mental. I mean, I like the fact they're there. I just don't think they should be so pushy at trying to pull people in. But at the same time, I guess if that was your main interest, you'd probably gone to a board game show.
Yeah, I was just going to say.
I mean, don't get me wrong, there is a crossover of interest.
Oh yeah, definitely.
We're both into.
And there was a few tabletop games there last year as well.
Yeah,
I think if with something like that, I agree with you in principle. Like the 7-hour massive epic games, or even the ones you have to take a long time to teach a new person, probably aren't or isn't the best way to sell it. There must be a way, even if you rope in a few people who've played it before. You say, look, we'll spot you some tickets for the Saturday. Yeah. Come and do, all right, we'll get 8 people.
Yeah.
4 people do the morning session, 4 people do the afternoon. We'll spot you some tickets so you can then spend the rest of the day wandering around. And because they know what they're doing, they can just go and play.
Yeah.
So people who don't know what they're doing, they can literally come, they can watch.
Yeah.
Maybe they have a spare seat. And then whoever the pushy guy is can just say, oh yeah, hi guys, how you doing? This is what the game is. This is what it's all about. And they can watch other people who know what they're doing, because that's always something like that. If you watch somebody who can just go bang, bang, right, my turn, bang, your turn, bang, my turn, bang, and just work their way through it and just get on with the game, it looks much more impressive than going, right, now you've rolled a 6, but you've also turned over an A card, which means...
I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not faulting their enthusiasm or their ability. It's just the selection of games. Like, pick a game that takes 15 minutes. Like
or work on your pitch.
Exploding Kittens, or Cash and Guns, or Cards Against Humanity if you really want to go down that avenue. Now, there are lots of little short-form games, Zombie Dice, whatever. Yeah. All of those things will help. But
I think it's just a case of working on their pitch, by the sounds of it.
Yeah.
How they pitch it.
Yeah, that could be it. So, right, can I just check your microphone's still picking it nicely?
I think so.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, that's fine. So that was a weird show. It was very relaxed. We went on a Thursday, so it's always a quieter day. But there seemed to be a huge amount of people selling these mystery boxes, which were shaped like either a Pokeball. I say shaped like they were designed like a Pokeball or a chest full of shit, like 30 quid a piece.
So like a loot crate.
Buy a loot crate
type system.
Yeah, but just rather than wait and everybody get the same stuff, you just get a load of crap in a box. But knowing that people like mystery boxes, there's just tons of those stores. It's very strange. But I just wish they'd sort of scale it down a little bit, focus on what they're really good at. The Rezzed stuff was great. We played loads and loads of really good stuff. The people who did Block Ships, which is I played at Gadget Show previously. It's like Tetris mixed with Space Invaders in a multiplayer, like Micro Machines as well. Love it. Like one of the best games I've played as a couch multiplayer. They were there and they were constantly busy. People loved it. And we played Gladiator, 4-player Gladiator arena game.
At the NEC as well.
I thought that was the NIA.
No, it was NEC.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, I can't remember.
Sure it was.
I thought it was a National Indoor Arena.
I'm sure it was the NEC. Or maybe they moved at some point.
I'm sure there'll be somebody at home shouting right now. Going, you idiot.
John Fashioney.
Okay.
He definitely listens to the show.
His warnings will be going off all the time. He'll be shouting at it. Go, no! Oh, God! Like that.
Yeah.
He'll be running up a travelator to get onto an email server as soon as he possibly can.
He will.
Anyway,
that's definitely going to happen.
So that was top down, but it also had an element of Pac-Man to it, so you could run off the edge and come across the other side. If you threw a trident, it would carry on until it hit something. You could beat someone to death with their own arm. It was a lot of fun. And that sort of summed up the Rezzed area. It always does. There's very, very good games from very, very talented people that need that exposure. Nature's Zombie Apocalypse was there again, of course.
Yeah.
And they're still just always got 10 people sat there laughing their tits off. Like games on early access, so it should be. But every time they go, oh, we did another level. Got another level that's on there now. The amount of people just sort of saying, oh, yeah, we saw you last year, didn't we? Yeah. What's new? Okay, there's this. That's great. That's the best thing about Rezzed.
Yeah.
And that's what I go to EGX for. I don't go to EGX to play Battlefield 1. I could play the beta here. I could get it early access on EA. Like, why would I queue for an hour for that when I could queue for an hour to play ukulele, which is the spiritual successor to Banjo-Kazooie? It just seemed stupid that people would do that. I needed more than one day.
Yeah.
But we had one day. And Hock needed to keep eating. He's getting old. And we had to keep he had to keep eating fruit. Right. At one point, he bought, I think, an apple, a banana, and a coffee.
Right.
And then ate them. He had an orange at one point as well.
Yeah. Did you eat that?
No, he put it in his bag, I think, and took it home.
Should check up on him.
I need to check up on him. He's lost a lot of weight.
Yeah.
And he's running and cycling. He's looking quite well. He's not like Dr. Christian.
Yeah.
With all like really buff.
Yeah.
He's more like
Dr. Carl Kennedy?
No, not that chubby. I'd say he's more like Dr. Kildare.
Yeah.
Or
Dr. Fox.
Ooh. He hasn't touched anyone inappropriately. It was massively.
He was not guilty of that, wasn't he?
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I don't care what courts say.
We don't listen to experts anymore. Not in this Britain.
I just sit there and say, if you're going around telling people you're a doctor and you're not a doctor, that's automatically a red flag.
That was one of my favourite scenes from Monkey Dust, I think. When the foe kidnapping of Dr. Fox. And she's like, what are you a doctor of exactly? Well, I'm more of a professor of pop. And there's like an arrow pierces his shoulder.
It's like,
that was a great show, Monkey Dust.
Oh, it really was. If you haven't seen it, do search it out. It's worth it. But yeah, I sit there and I just think, if you're going to call yourself a doctor, back it up. There's no need to.
Well, like fighting on the streets.
Yeah.
Street countdown.
I think you should have to, like, the first thing you should do is say, right, what you're a doctor, what's your doctorate? And then they go astrophysics, and you give them a rocket kit and say, fire that. And then
he tells you what the top 40 is.
Yeah, and you're like, that's not astrophysics. That's numerical redundancies in association with retail trends and statistics. And I went, which you could probably get a doctorate in, but you also don't have that. Yeah. What's the point?
Anyway.
Yeah. So Hock kept eating, which I think we probably spent 2 hours of our day in cafes and restaurants. Not entirely because Hock's old, but he's also old.
He's also old.
I miss going out with young people.
Oh. Well, he invited me over instead.
I should have done.
Yeah.
No, you weren't available.
No.
He was available, and I could go do Thursday.
Yeah.
Next year, though.
Yes.
We'll have more time because you won't have got married and used all your holiday time.
Yeah. I spent most large parts of my holiday this year at various medical establishments. Just running around different things.
It's how
it is what it is.
It is what it is. I mean, I see if I'm allowed to travel next year.
Yeah.
Might not be allowed to.
No.
In this iron lung that I'm currently lying
in.
Yeah.
It's a salmon shirt. Don't make it more than it is. It's a salmon pink shirt. I'm trying to build it up.
That sounds like I'm some sort of super villain. Yeah. Like, I am the iron lung. You're like, no, you're not. Your name's Kevin.
All right, Bo. Fancy seeing you here.
So yeah, in summary,
do you want your sandwich later, Mom? I'll have lunch later.
Best things about EGX were the interactions, as they always are. Simple as that. It's always going to be a good show because you've got a room full of people. I didn't manage to insult a man who'd fallen down some stairs and broke his arm.
Good.
Like last year.
Yeah.
But I did manage to accidentally upset someone in a wheelchair by sitting on them.
So it's a little bit like last year when you upset the wheelchair child on the bus next to us on the M6.
Yeah. And it was worse because I just sat on a man in a wheelchair. I didn't even realise.
That might be worse, actually. Yeah. You weren't just pulling a face out of a window, not realising there was a bus full of school children next to
I was looking at my phone and I was sort of looked behind me and there was some seats. So I just
one had wheels on, you thought, that'd be good.
I didn't see the wheels.
Yeah.
I just saw a bench and I went to sit on it. I mean, it's lucky he was there because if not, I'd have fallen on the floor.
Looked like a complete idiot.
Yeah. And instead, I sat there and there was a brilliant moment where obviously I couldn't see what he was doing at this point. He was with a woman and it was her who made me aware that I was sitting on a man in a wheelchair, not him. He must have been like socially mortified. He just sort of sat there just going, either that or I just smothered him. I don't know which. And she just went, "Excuse me, darling, you've just sat on my brother." And I went, "I'm sorry, what?" And I didn't stand up. I just sort of turned and I went, "Oh, I am really sorry," and stood up. And then I was trying to apologise a little bit too much, like rich people do.
Yeah.
And then I just thought, "Oh, this is awkward. I do still want to sit down, and there's the bench there, but can I sit next to somebody I've just sat on?" So I did.
Yeah.
And then just turned away from them and pretended they weren't there.
I'm not sure if that's making it worse.
It was very quiet.
Yeah.
But you know when there's a whole convention hall full of people, but it's silence?
Yeah.
That's what it felt like. It felt like in a film where there's a battle scene, a bomb's just gone off and everybody's ears have popped. It was like that.
It sounds more like an episode of Alan
That's
Partridge.
what happens when Hawk leaves me and goes to the toilet for somebody. I end up sitting on disabled people again.
Yeah.
I don't
even know how you manage that.
I need one of those. You know them.
I'm glad you don't drive a car. I really am.
The wristbands that you give toddlers where you put it on your wrist and on their wrist. That's what Hawk should have had with me. We should have just been tied at the wrist. So he goes to the toilet and I'm the other side of a door.
Yeah.
I just going, hurry up, Hawk. And he's like, I'm just doing a big poo. It's all this fruit I've been eating. Doesn't sound like that.
Doesn't sound like that.
Probably would be while straining.
I'm doing a big
poo. And then Newsbot wipes him.
Yeah.
Cleanses him.
Too much information there.
Oh, Newsbot was in the boot of the car the whole time. It was so annoying. Just folded up there under some biker gear.
Yeah.
I say bike gear, cyclist gear. Not bike gear, he's not a proper bike. Like, my pedal.
We watched one episode of Sons of Anarchy and look at him.
Yeah. He watched Sons of Anarchy, but halfway through accidentally turned over to Springwatch and now doesn't know which he is.
Yeah.
He's like, I want to be in Meadows on 2 wheels. There's only one way to do that. Be Eddie Kidd. No, not Eddie Kidd. Didn't he hurt his neck really bad?
Neck or back? I can't remember. Yeah. He did quite badly injure himself.
He was really good. He was really good. It's a shame about that.
That's another one that the person at work you work with will not have heard of.
To be fair, I think Eddie Kidd is a bit more unique. I tell you who's even more like obscure. If you're talking about stunt related, Eddie Murphy. Not Eddie Murphy.
Eddie Murphy.
Do you know, it's not even related. It's Steve Murty, who I was trying to think of.
Eddie Murphy.
He was the man at Truckfest who used to have the truck that could do a big wheelie, a big yellow one that had flames come up. He was like a...
John Truckosaurus.
Kind of like that, yeah. Steve Murty. There was a Belgian guy as well, like Remy Dutrey or something. He had a car that he would accelerate, slam the brakes on, and the roof was curved, and it would do like a somersault and carry on. But yeah, if you're going to refer to them, that's fine if people don't know.
Did it make that noise like in, was it Live and Let Die? Yeah.
No, it didn't.
That's disappointing.
Because it was a European man, and obviously they've got no sense of style or humour. Fucking Europe. Better off out.
I like Henning Wehn. He's funny. He's from Germany. He's European.
And where's he made a career?
Oh, on the comedy circuit.
Being a European. And constantly
in a European country currently.
That most of the jokes are, I'm a German and I talk with a funny accent. I don't know what they're saying to me. That is Henning Wehn's act, and it's brilliant. And I love it. But 90% of the time, it's his staccato delivery of pidgin English, and it's great. I mean, it's a really good act. I love it. But you know, it wouldn't have worked if there was no animosity there.
I don't know how anybody could be animosity or have animosity. Sorry, it makes much more sense towards Henning Wehn. No, towards Henning Wehn.
Yeah, but he's not. He's taking on the burden of World War II on his shoulders. That's the other part of his act, isn't it? It's like there was one I was watching him on.
That was part of Harry Enfield's act.
It was, but he wasn't a German.
No.
So it's funnier when you hear a German. Like on Would I Lie to You recently, David Mitchell asked him a couple of questions, and Lee Mack went, "All right, David. He's not standing in for war crimes." And anyway, went, "Not currently, anyway." And you just think, brilliant. Yeah. That's what I want. I want more people laughing and joking about the Nazi Party because that's how you move on with things, isn't it? Germany's a wonderful country. I love it.
I do.
I wish it wasn't part of Europe. And actually,
I wish Germany wasn't part of Germany.
I wish Germany wasn't part of Europe.
How does that work?
I wish that Britain and Germany could merge into one country.
That would be France.
What I would like is Germany to invade Britain and be successful. Right?
I think we're going down a very difficult road here.
And then basically say, right, we'll now call ourselves the Germanic Englanders.
All right.
And we're just going to be our own country separate from Europe. And bollocks to the rest of you. We'll have buses and trains that run on time. We'll have really good beers, some nice forests. Be great, wouldn't it?
We basically drag them down, though.
I, for one,
will certainly on the train front.
Angela Merkel can live in my shed if she wants.
Yeah.
I think she'd probably want the house. She won't be living in the shed.
She's got that face
on her. Well, I just did.
I'm not really sure if that was the face, but
I say Angela. It's Angela, isn't it?
Angela Merkel.
She's not very angular though. Because spheres aren't angular, are they?
No.
Little round face on a little round body. And Germanic sausage fingers.
Okay.
Do love Germany. You know when I said this would be a really short show and you said we'll probably deviate at some point?
I was right.
Yeah, you were right.
Yeah. Should we move on?
So yeah, EGX out of 10, 7 out of 10.
Okay.
Must try harder.
As we've mentioned the Sony VR, shall we do the Sony VR pay demo bit next?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
That's like the bollocks, isn't it?
Yeah.
Fuck off game.
Yeah.
I mean, if you haven't seen it, basically game we're asking people to pay £5 to try Sony
for 10 minutes.
Some people for 5 minutes.
Really?
Yeah. Different stores have different prices.
Okay.
So yeah, if you want to potentially spend £300, you had to spend £5 or £10 to try a piece of software and hardware to make sure you were buying the right thing. Fucking what a genius way! Could you imagine going to test drive like a Corsa and the bloke at the garage going, "Well, that's 50 quid." So what? Yeah, it's 50 quid. If you buy the car, you get your 50 quid back. If you don't,
sorry,
50 quid.
Yeah,
like nobody would do that.
No,
it's a very strange act. Like any business. I'm thinking of buying these trousers. Do you have a change room? Yeah, we do. Yeah, it's this way, sir. Have you got £10? What? It's £10 to try those trousers on. Well, you can fuck off. You wouldn't do it, would you? Like, I just don't get it. I don't get the logic. It's completely anti-consumer. Like,
they have tried to justify it.
Well, they try and justify all sorts of things. They try and justify the fact that they make you spend 20 quid at the checkout before you can get what you wanted. I've worked for Game, and I bloody hate them because there's time and time again they've got great staff. They're cornered the market. They don't need to pull shit like this. Some people have defended it, saying, "Well, you have to have a staff member stood there to demo it." They have 6
but they
shop
can
floor staff.
But they can do this because they've cornered the market.
But that doesn't mean that it's okay.
No, it doesn't. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. That's why it's even worse because they know that they shouldn't do it, and they do it anyway.
I don't know that they know that they shouldn't do it.
Yes, they do.
No, I don't know if that's the case. I think maybe some local level staff can't justify it.
No,
or can't, or have to go along with it because they're told to by head office. But I think at a corporate level,
when I was working for,
this is easy. They talk as you were just alluding to, that one of the reasoning behind it was that they could have dedicated staff members who've been properly trained to man the VR pods.
Properly trained, yeah.
But if it's £5 for 10 minutes,
yeah.
Well, maths is easy on that front.
Yeah.
That's more than it's costing them to pay that staff member for an hour and to train them.
Is properly trained to buy to use something that you're going to take home and set up. Like the piece of equipment has to be easy enough for an end user to set up and use. Yeah. Otherwise, you wouldn't sell it.
No.
And like when I worked there, I always had my 3DS XL and my Vita in my pockets. And if somebody came in and went, "I'm thinking about buying this, which is a better one?" I would say, "Oh, do you want to try one?" The amount of times I got told off for doing that. "Oh, you shouldn't have a console with you. You shouldn't be doing that. You shouldn't be letting." What if they ran off with it? It's like, I want to hold it in my hand. If I want to try something, I want to try it first. I want to have a look at it. I want to feel the weight of it. I want to look at the screen. I want to see how that 3D works. How does the Vita feel in my hand? Because the Vita feels great. They were like, "Oh, no, we never do that." If they want to try it, they can go on one of the units. So you got a Vita that's locked down onto a table. You can't hold it. You can't turn it. You can't feel it. You can't talk to somebody who uses it. This would have been a perfect example of how you bring people in. You say, "Look, book a slot. That's all we ask. You book a slot. Take a raffle ticket like a deli counter." And they'll say, "Look, every number will be every 10 minutes. Come back at 2:15 or whatever." I get, paying money means that people will turn up for their appointment. But make it fundable. So, you pay it in.
It's like a doctor's appointment.
Yeah, so if they don't turn up, you've had 10 minutes where you haven't been able to show it, but then they've paid the price of not turning up. That's reasonable. But when you sit there saying, "Well, yeah, you get your money back if you buy this unit," not to mention the fact there's a massive shortage of the units anyway. So if everybody wanted to, they probably couldn't anyway. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Absolutely ridiculous.
I like what Mike Bithell said.
What was that?
If there's one thing VR really needs, it's another paywall. I think he's right. Because I don't think I'd buy one.
Well, could you imagine EGX if they said, "Oh, would you like to play on the PSVR?" "Oh yeah, it's £1." They would sell so many opportunities to play on it because people would have gone, "Oh yes, please, yeah, I'd love to do that." I mean, just because people would pay it doesn't mean you should do it.
Just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Yeah, because there'll always be somebody around the corner who'll go, well, that seems crazy. Play my game and not have to worry about it.
Yeah.
And because Game haven't got that. I mean, if CEX had bought a few of these units and put them in their stores, they wouldn't have charged for it. Because it would have been sticky and second-hand and stolen. Like, there's Amazon lost a load of them, which is very strange. A friend of mine...
they suddenly appeared at NEC in empty boxes.
A friend of mine, Scented Pixel, she ordered the PSVR. Mm-hmm. She bought a load of games as well. The games arrived separately, so she'd stored all those on a hard drive and had the headset delivered to her workplace. So she gets the email tracking, colleague assigned for the parcel. So she goes to colleague, no, I'm waiting for a parcel myself, nothing's arrived. And then when she got in touch with Amazon, they went, well, you have to leave it 48 hours. And then when she waited 48 hours, they then said, well, it was signed for. She goes, no, nobody signed for it. And they went, oh, actually, it's in another building, it's a block of flats, but we don't know which flat it went to. And she went, so what do you want me to do? And they went, well, we can send you a new one, but maybe if you want to go and try the flats, maybe someone there's got it. And she went, sorry, that's your solution. And then when she said, all right, well, I'll give that a go, they then cancelled her new order, her replacement. And then when she said, no, that's not what I wanted, they went, oh, actually, now there's a back queue, so you got to wait. So what a brilliant thing. Like, you've got an easily £300 piece of equipment, and their courier just went, yeah. If he even delivered it. I'm not saying they stole it. I'm just saying it seems odd. Because when you're carrying high-value items, you know what they are. You get told what they are. Because you have to know that it's a high value.
But equally, sometimes they just want to pass it on to someone and move on.
Yeah. But if you're delivering to a business, you know you're going to be able to make that drop.
99% of the time, yes.
I mean, like Claire, if she had to deliver to a residential or a business address, and you had a choice, you'd always go to the business. Because you know they're open from 9 till 5. You know you can go in, there'll be a reception, you can leave it there.
Yeah.
And if she designated that, as she had, as her drop stop, there was no reason not to drop to it. To go to a block of flats down the road seems crazy.
Yeah.
But what can you do? So PSVR, good. Don't pay to try it. Trust me, it's good.
Cool.
Just order it.
Let's move on to things which we also think look good.
Switch.
Yay.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Nintendo know what they're doing, don't they?
I'm very excited, actually, now. As I said to you, it's possibly coming with the asterisks of what games are available.
Yeah.
Because that was one of the problems the Wii U had.
If it launches with Zelda bundled in, they will sell so many.
Yeah. Basically, it is everything I liked about it. Because I played your Wii U before, and it seems to have all the elements I loved about that, combined with the fact that it takes it that step further. So I love the Wii U controller.
Yeah.
I sat basically America on your sofa on the controller. I didn't have a look at the screen.
No.
I loved that. And that's what the Switch offers, which is great because, you know, if Emma's watching something on telly and I want to smash my head through the wall because I don't like it, or we've been watching Harry Potter for the 8th time, the Switch looks like it's going to offer the opportunity to literally take it out of its little main station holder, whatever you want to call it. I can sit playing it on the sofa quite happily.
Yeah.
If I could play something like Zelda, Skyrim,
it
looked like Skyrim was in the promo trailer they did. Splatoon. I mean, they've got this big wall picture board or whatever, all these third parties who are supposed to be behind it, Activision, Sega, companies like that. I'm quite excited.
Yeah.
I'm quite excited.
The only thing that surprised me when I saw the video...
People took it outside, and rather than playing basketball on the street, they sat down...
It was a very anti-social friendly trailer, that one.
It was strange.
Like, here, go on a train and ignore everybody around you. Go on a plane and ignore everyone around you.
Yeah,
go to the park. The only person he talked to was the woman who also had one, which seems a bit unusual.
That's what used to be like with the DS.
Yeah, it's true. But the one thing I wanted them to do, you know, the little kickstand, which I thought was brilliant, I wanted them to have Wii Sports. You imagine those two little little controllers because you could separate it.
Yeah.
If you had one each and you could play tennis like that, that would be another system seller. Yeah. Because that's what sold the Wii, was that accessible basic game.
I don't give a shit about that.
I know you don't, but that's the point. They've already pandered to us with just showing us great-looking games and that technology. The reason the Wii sold well was price and accessible basic gaming.
But then it also
people understood tennis, and that controller made all the difference.
And then it also died on its ass.
The Wii didn't. It just reached saturation point really quickly.
Yeah.
There are still people that play it and enjoy it. just not as many. And the Wii U deserved better than what it got. Because the Switch is really the Wii U controller with removable paddles.
Yeah, for sure. It's the next step in evolution, in a sense.
Yeah. And luckily, I was proved to be almost exactly right, because I said it would be a console that you could plug into a TV and take it away with you, and it would be wireless. And a portable console in itself. And that's exactly what it is.
That's the bit I'm excited for.
And yeah, it's a very sexy looking thing. The other thing it reminded me of, actually, was the Game Vice. Yeah, that thing I have for my phone.
For your phone, yeah.
Yeah. Reminded me very much of that.
Sure, actually.
So I wonder whether they're currently going, oh, what? Have you stolen my ideas? Because essentially that's what it is, really. If you think about it, you've got the two controller butts that slot around an existing screen.
You have, but as you just said...
I mean, it is a massive step up.
You've got the Wii U controller, but detachable element.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong.
Well, I love the Wii U controller.
Yeah.
I genuinely did. I absolutely adored it when I played on Mario Kart on your Wii U.
Yeah.
But it wasn't enough then to make me want to buy a Wii U.
And the support wasn't there from developers either. That's the main issue that the Wii U had.
So I wasn't going to spring a couple of £100
No.
or probably Splatoon. I probably would have played that.
Yeah.
And I wasn't as much as I enjoyed when I played on Wii U. I probably wouldn't have bought Mario Kart because I just wasn't that bothered about it.
No.
It's fun to play it as a sampler.
I mean, what I'm pleased about now, being a Wii U owner, is they're doing a Nintendo Selects range. So for £20, you can get pretty much every great Nintendo Wii U game. So for £100, I can fill all the holes in my collection, have that, and it'd be like the Dreamcast. Dreamcast had 10 really great games, and it died. But they're still playable now.
Yeah.
You go back to Choo Choo Rocket, it's as good as anything else that's ever come out in that market. So the Wii U is great. The two things that intrigue me about the Switch is at one point you see him slot something in the top, and I was trying to work out whether that was a game card.
People seem to be suggesting it's a game
which
cartridge.
Is interesting in itself, because that would be cheaper in some of those, but more expensive in others. But it would be certainly better than just digital only, because it gives you something you can physically own, which was the big concern that people had when Microsoft came out with the Xbox One and saying you wouldn't own your own products and this was just a download. So it seems like they're going that way, but obviously cartridges are more expensive. So it sort of balances out one way or the other.
The suggestion seems to be it's a cartridge.
Yeah.
Which is quite small, I thought. Like
very small. I mean, it's almost like a PlayStation Vita cartridge. They were tiny.
The cartridge seems a bit big, does it?
Yeah.
I'm looking at it, does it?
It's, yeah. And I love the little cradle. Love the cradle idea. Just
the whole thing to me, that I know it's designed to make us want to buy it and to get excited.
Yeah, and it's
done well.
Yeah.
I understand the sarcasm some people have had for people stopping playing real life basketball to play 2K17 on.
But then
Switch.
here is the other issue. There are people. I mean, you as a consumer of NHL games, you haven't stopped playing hockey because video game hockey's out there. You're the sort of person who always would have played video game hockey alongside something you're interested in. Those people on a basketball court would play basketball together still anyway, but they're also exactly the sort of people who would play that sort of game. Yeah. Like football people who love football play football games. It's not because they're not good at football anymore or they don't care about playing that. It's just they're going to have more of a vested interest in the product. And I think what Nintendo did better than anything else is they showed the range of uses. They didn't concentrate too much on saying there's this game, and in this game you can do this.
They didn't hammer on, even though they showed Mario and Zelda and Skyrim, they had a little bit of...
Yeah, it was concept over content, and the concept is important. Nintendo have always done that.
Some people seem to have sussed out that actually some of the game stuff was overlaid.
Well, it will be. It will be, because...
Again,
like,
it doesn't bother me.
Yeah,
unless it got bent up, I'm like, well, again, it's designed to make want.
And also, you've got a marketing company who's shooting all this video 6 months ago, and the more footage you've got out there in people's hands, the more chance of leaks. Like that footage of them with a big stadium, you know that was filmed with a very blank screen and no branding whatsoever. So when it can be done in post-production, they'd overlay everything. I mean, of course they want to do that. And the Zelda stuff, it looked great. I don't care if it's overlaid. That's still, as far as I'm concerned, gameplay. And it looks beautiful.
See, that's one game that would make me want to get it.
Yeah.
But again, like the Wii U, it can't be one or two. So,
I mean, Nintendo do concentrate on one really good game every few months. So they have done since the
but
3DS.
That doesn't necessarily bother me because the time I have available. I mean, effectively, I have 2 jobs and a family.
Yeah.
So my time is even more limited than it's ever been.
Get him with his 2 jobs and a family. I've got half a job and a family, and I still manage to not do anything.
But so that whole one game if it's one great game every 6 months, 3 months, 4 months.
I mean, the Wii U did that, but it was an expensive console to start with.
Yeah, and if it's something like Zelda, which you can get 3 or 6 months out of, potentially you could. Depending on how they do it.
Well, if they put Skyrim on there, that's fine on its own. Because you get Skyrim, you can get Fallout.
I've got a whole year.
Could you imagine Fallout on a portable console you could just take out with you?
I wouldn't go out. I'd sit on the sofa with it.
Well, even then.
I'd hold it up into a small ball.
Yeah, you'd be like, I've got to go to a funeral. Oh, that's all right. Yeah. Take Fallout with me. Stand it on the coffin.
I remember that. I remember that for your funeral.
Hey, frankly, I bloody insist that everybody
play Wii tennis. That's what I would have wanted.
As I'm being freeze dried, everybody's like, "Oh, what are you playing?" Well, I'm playing Shaq Fu on the Sega Mega Drive. It's what he would have wanted. Just a shelf of them, and everybody takes a copy.
Playing Shaq Fu on the Nintendo Switch, and he killed over.
Oh, but yeah, I think Nintendo have got a winner on their hand if they price the console right.
Yeah, that's a key point.
This is the other thing. If they
I mentioned games, but price point.
If they do that, £199,
I'll be all over that.
Yeah, and going by the technology and the cost of the 3DS XL, the 2 screens, the portability, and the technology is all in that handheld. Yeah. So it doesn't need to be much more expensive than a handheld console. It doesn't need to be more expensive than the Vita was, power-wise. So £100, £200 is reasonable, but obviously, because that's where the Wii did really well. It was 159 quid in a world of £300 consoles.
Yeah.
The Xbox One S is now sub 250. The PlayStation Slim is cheaper. So they need to not undercut it, but they need to compete price-wise.
I think people will give it some slack because it's brand new. So there'll be a willingness.
Short term.
Yeah, precisely. Yeah, exactly. But there will be a willingness to give them some slack initially if they go, say, 250. Yeah. If they then drop to 200, for argument's sake.
Yeah, the army's arrived.
Yeah.
It's got headphones on as well.
Yeah. Modern military in it.
Member of a Signal Corps, obviously.
Yeah.
I say Signal Corps. Got no idea that podcasts require silence as he opens and closes the fridge and serves apple juice around.
Drum and bass corps.
Bloody idiot. Anyway, so NX Switch is a good game name as well.
Yeah.
Because it's simple. Certainly means more than Wii U.
Woo!
Because that's just odd. Like, Ouya, Wii U, Nexus.
Yeah, Switch is a better name than NX. I like that.
Switch is good. NX was always good in the sense of being a code name. Because they've had it in the past. GameCube was Dolphin. 64, I think, was Revolution.
Can't remember.
I can't remember what Wii was.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they get these. Was the Dolphins the Dreamcast? I can't remember anyway now.
Could have been the Dreamcast because of the little. Didn't they have Echo the Dolphin early on and stuff? Could have been. I don't know. I can't remember.
Either way, the point is, Switch is a good brandable name. Waving goodbye to them.
Saluting the army. Excellent.
I wasn't saluting. I was waving goodbye as they retreated like a Frenchman. Right, finally, let's wrap up with some Gears of War 4 talk. Now, you have not played the game yet properly.
It only arrived today. So.
And I finished the campaign.
Marvellous.
Loved it. Right, I'm not going to say any more than that.
No, I've seen the reviews. They've all been positive thus far. So
I have,
and it's one I can play with Emma, which is always a bonus.
I have issues with it. We'll talk about those once we finish the campaign and once we've given a bit of fair warning. What I do want to ask is the listeners out there, do you want to play some Horde? I was going to do that to the tune of Rosen then. And then I just couldn't bring myself to do it. Do you want to play some Horde, man? I'm pretty sure. Bye. That's what'll happen though. So we're going to be playing Horde at some point. Now, you, your partner, and me. Yep. Definitely. So that'll be 3. I think it's up to 5 or 6 players for Horde. 5 before, wasn't it? So I can't remember actually. I thought it was 4, but I may be wrong. could be 4. I just think 5. I've got number 5 in my head.
Because it used to be you, me, Emma,
Shall I
and
check?
Andy from the Monday Movie Show used to jump in with us sometimes.
Sometimes my ex was in there as well. And I'm wondering whether that made the 5. Horde, Gears 4 players. Actually, am I now limiting the result by putting the word 4 in players? Let's find out. So, Gears 4 Horde mode. Up to 5 human players in Horde. So, yes, so we can get another 2 people in, which is good because we have 2 listeners. Hopefully they've both got Xboxes.
That would be useful.
Because Horde is great.
Maybe we should put that stipulation on the invitation.
Yeah. Now they've changed quite a bit with Horde. Now the way Horde works, and I think it's great. Before, you used to have a round, and you use all your credits to buy your bits and pieces.
Yep.
And then the round would go. This time you've got like these boxes that generate items. When you kill an enemy, you run over. It's almost like kill confirmed. You run over and you collect a credit, which you deposit back into the thing to build more defences and bolster your defences.
Okay.
So you can sort of do it on the run a little bit. So
you've got to wait for the end of a round. Yeah.
You can't just hide in a wall. Well, you can just hide in a corner. But that was one of the big things with Horde. You could pretty much, if you were especially on the stadium level, you could kind of hunker down. You can't necessarily do that now. You've got to kind of go out and get your credits. So that is quite a good way of wrapping it up.
I think that also creates a little bit, from the sounds of it, of teamwork, because if there's 4 of you, 2 go, 2 cover, and so forth. Yeah.
So there's that element. Then you've also got the fact that there are now these like... Well, they're like the gearboxes that you get. They're like Destiny and stuff like that. So you get drops of these things, you get XP things, and then they give you items, skins. You get these mission boosters like the Destiny bounties.
Oh, yeah.
So you can like apply those to a match. So in the match, if you play as an engineer and you clear 20 waves, you get an XP bonus. So that's an extra element of strategy, but you get those cards from these random objects as well. So there's lots of little bits and pieces in there that make it a more kind of repetitive, gives more longevity to what was already a very good game mode. So yeah, we were looking for Horde players. So if you're interested, hit us up on Twitter or email at wearthelolocaust@gmail.com. Twitter is obviously we are with the letter R. Is that the right line? Yeah. We are the Lolocaust R with the letter R. Just at we are Lolocaust. Or at Bouncy Ball with an H after second B.
At Rob McGregor 35.
I can never remember if it's 33 or 35.
We used to be 33. Then when I still playing hockey, when I signed for Milton Keynes, my shirt number changed to 35. So I changed
it to what that was?
That's what that was. It used to be 33 and it changed to 35.
So that's why I always think 33 then. Because you were.
I was. Not anymore.
And you weren't 33 at the time.
No. That was just my shirt number.
Because I did think that seemed a bit old for you to be 35. So how old are you tomorrow again, I said?
33 tomorrow.
33 tomorrow. So then you will be Rob McGregor 33, but you will also be Rob McGregor 35.
Yeah.
So in 2 years' time, your Twitter handle will make more sense to people who don't know your shirts.
Yeah.
By that name, I should be Bouncy Ball with an H after second B, XXXL.
Because
that's what it says inside the back of my pants.
Hey.
I got new shoes on, Rob. Look at them.
Oh, yeah.
Giant, great big shoes.
I took my shoes off when I came into your house.
I know, I'm breaking these in. I bought them today.
Yeah.
But it's weird because I've got a bit, they're very deep sole on these. Big, chunky old sole. So I feel like I'm standing on egg boxes. Like a tiny person. So yeah, get in touch with us, people. Say hello again. Yeah. We'll do more of these.
We will.
I've enjoyed it.
I have.
And I've got headphones on, so I've been monitoring the audio.
Yeah.
And apart from a couple of bits where we moved too far from the microphone and a few breathy bits which we can fix. Yeah. And me just going every now and then. Yeah. But other than that, the audio's been alright.
Yeah.
So we've been monitoring properly, like with headphones and everything.
Yeah.
Like proper technical people.
We have.
I'm actually wearing them right now.
Yeah.
It's great. I said to Rob earlier, it's like doing a Skype call with
somebody sat opposite.
Yeah. Like when I was on the train once, I did a phone call on FaceTime, and the person opposite me thought I was talking to them and responded to me, and I had to explain that I was on the phone, but not on the phone. Very confusing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so next week's show we'll be talking about Gears. We'll be talking about BioShock Collection.
Because I've been playing that. That's actually a game I've been playing.
Yeah, and I'm hoping to have had a play on that by next week. And if I haven't, I'm still interested in hearing your say on that.
Yep.
We'll also be talking about the new Humble Bundle, which includes Game Friend of the Show Game Unbox, which we talked about a lot. We did an interview with Andy Benison. So we've got that coming. And that is, I think, if you pay £9.60, you get that, along with Techno Babylon, which I reviewed on the website. So 2 very good games, along with some other very good games. Assault Android at Cactus as well, which is a brilliant twin-stick shooter. So yeah, a lot of really good games there. So I'll have a few of those bought. So we'll get onto those. And if you've got any questions, ask your questions. Of course, you can always support the show by using our affiliate links that you can find for our website. There's an Amazon link there, especially if you're doing Christmas shopping. Really helps us out. We could do with some more microphone pop shields. And if you want to donate, you can click the PayPal link, or you can just put some cash in an envelope and then email us, and we'll give you an address to post it to.
Yeah.
Probably my home address, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, that's worth the donation anyway, get my home address.
Oh, yeah.
Because people do like that. I once had my Twitter was once set up with my location.
Right.
And someone then went on Google Maps, found the house I live in, sent me a photo of it, and he went, "This is why you shouldn't use location services." And I felt like responding going, "No, this is why you shouldn't stalk people."
Yeah.
But also, so what?
Yeah.
Come and knock on my door. What people have.
Yeah.
Have people turn up at my workplace and just say, "You Bouncy?" I went to, I don't know if I've seen you since I went to Ipswich with my youngest. I went to see this YouTuber.
Just the way you started. I don't know if I've seen you since I went to Ipswich.
Well, I don't know if I've talked about it too much.
No. Well, no, we've talked about it in private, obviously not on the podcast.
Yeah, well, I went to Ipswich to to watch a show by a YouTuber, Dan TDM, who's well known for doing Minecraft videos. Really good show. I'm not going to go into too much detail because he doesn't like people talking about the show. And it's actually really nice. At the end of it, he went, "I know you're all really excited to talk about this, but there are a lot of people who haven't seen this show yet. They've bought their tickets, and we want the surprise to be there for them."
Yeah.
What I will say, I went into there incredibly cynical, not helped by the fact that the programme cost £20.
Yeah.
And it was like 8 pages, right? Or 15. I can't remember. It's ridiculously expensive.
Yeah.
And then I spent £70 on merchandise. But then I thought if I'd gone to a concert, I'd have paid that on merchandise anyway. But the actual show itself was incredibly well put together and brilliant for kids.
Yeah.
Science and ethics and morals and technology had a final fight that I've never seen something as good on stage in my life.
Huh.
So, yeah, that was very good. So, well done to Dan there. I'm sure my approval will mean a lot to it.
I'm sure it will.
But while we were wandering around doing Pokemon hunting and the likes, a bus driver shouted across the road to me.
Right.
And I heard what she said. This was like a 50-year-old bus driver, looked a lot like Wanda Sykes. I heard what she said, but the words didn't make sense of why she would say it. And it was, "All right, Bouncy, enjoy the show tonight." So one of my Twitter followers was an Ipswich bus driver. So if you are listening to this show, which you probably are, that was brilliant. Because it weirded me out for 3 hours where I couldn't work out why. Because I always assume my demographic is like 30 to 40-year-old beardy people. I'm not saying she's not in that age group and doesn't have a beard. Didn't look like it. And this beard was completely covering his or her face and making them look like Wanda Sykes. I don't know.
Well,
but it was weird.
Well,
I mean, I've had people like come up and go, "Are you Bouncy?" Never a bus driver in Ipswich. But how weird's that?
It's a bit creepy.
I mean, it's brilliant. I love it. You know me.
Yeah.
That's great. It's not the recognition. It's not the faux celebrity of it. It's just how random an encounter that was. That a bus driver, and obviously on a route, thinking, "Oh, Bouncy's in Ipswich there. I'll have to keep my eyes open." And he's like, "Oh, there he is!" Look. Could you imagine the excitement in her head? Like, do I shout out the window?
Just crash the bus.
A bus full of people. Do I shout out a random person going, "All right, are you in Ipswich then?" Just do an accent.
Yeah.
It's in a really good hotel as well. Penta Hotel. Quite trendy. And when we got there, you know when you book a hotel, they say any other information. In that, I said that it was Archer's birthday trip.
Right.
And he was having a special time. And I'd quite like it if they could do something. The bloke on the bar had obviously got that information. Welcomed him by name. Bought him a drink from the bar. Told him he couldn't have beer, but bought him a drink from the bar. And then wished him well and said, enjoy your show. And Archer was like, "How does he know my name?" It's like, that is good. I like that.
Or creepy, depending on...
No.
Yeah, but you know what happened. He was just like, my name, this is weird.
For him,
Stranger danger.
It's just amazing.
Yeah.
I'd seen it was a Tumblr account. It was the weird requests. This person basically goes around a lot of hotels, and each one would say, "I'd quite like a photo of."
Oh, I've seen this. Yeah.
And I just read that.
Yeah.
And I just thought,
picture of Jeff Goldblum or something.
Yeah. I was like, oh, should I do something like that? Like, could I ask for all the pillows to be laid in a triangle in the centre of the bed or something like in the Illuminati? But instead, I just went, could just make his day quite cool, and they did.
Cool.
And there was the best Pokestop
Yeah.
I've ever seen in my life, which was just 2 knights,
Right.
like horse knights, like a chess piece, as a seesaw, like a rocker, and it just went 2 knights, and the comment underneath was, "It's art, innit?" It's brilliant.
Yeah.
Love that.
We're not going to beat that. Let's leave it there.
Let's leave it there. So thank you very much for listening, guys. We'll see you later. Rob's going to have a birthday. He's got some goodies to take home with him.
Hey.
So wish him a happy birthday, because that will mean a lot to him. And get in touch about Gears if you're interested. And we'll see you on the next show. I won't promise when, but you will be a next show if I don't die. And if I do die, Rob will do a show on his own.